And tonight we're going to expose a huge lie. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So the Democratic Party is holding up the spending bill, which is expiring Friday at midnight. And the government will have to partially shut down. You know, we do this every 2 months, right? But here's why they're holding it up. Because Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries really want to gut the Homeland Security apparatus and ICE in a specific way. They want to neutralize it so that Homeland Security will have a far more difficult time controlling undocumented migrants already in this country. That is what the Democratic Party wants. Okay, let me prove it to you. So Schumer and Jeffries say, we're not going to fund Homeland Security. ICE is already funded. Unless you do the following. No masks for ICE agents. Now, that's already been adjudicated in California. Federal judge says ICE agents can wear masks. 2, judicial warrants when a migrant is taken into custody. That is impossible. There are 15 million illegal aliens in this country. You couldn't possibly get a judge to sign off on every one of them. No immigration enforcement near hospitals, schools, churches. That means in a city, you could not have any enforcement. And finally, agents must wear body cameras. Okay? All right. And there's another one, it's a little murky, that any kind of action against migrants must be shared with local authorities, which, of course, gives the authorities the opportunity to tip off the migrants or the groups involved, which, of course, they would in the radical left states. All right, so that's what's in play. It's not going to happen. So the Republicans are going to say, we're not going to do this. And I don't know if the compromise will be reached. I assume it will be. Okay. So the rational conclusion about all these demands is the Democratic Party doesn't want any enforcement. They just don't. They want amnesty. But that has been the position of the Democratic Party for decades. Amnesty. Anybody here who's not a criminal should be allowed to stay. But now it's violent criminal. This is the big lie. You ready for the big lie? Here it comes. So the Democrats are saying just 14% of migrants that have been detained by ICE are violent criminals. Roll it.
It's not getting rid of the worst, which, by the way, less than 14% have been accused or have been convicted of violent crimes that are in holding right now with DHS, with ICE.
That is misleading in the extreme, and I don't know whether Leslie Marshall knows that or not, but she certainly hasn't done her research. Now, that 14% figure comes from a CBS News report that is totally erroneous. Why? Well, here are the non-violent crimes that don't fall under the 14%. Drug trafficking and use, DWI, all crimes of theft, all crimes of fraud. In addition, child pornography, endangerment, and child trafficking are not considered violent crimes. So we told you yesterday that Honduran migrants control the entire drug traffic in San Francisco and parts of Oakland, California. They wouldn't be subject to ICE detention because selling heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, fentanyl, not violent crimes, according to Democrats. Not violent. Nope. Sell the fentanyl, guy dies. Nah, it's not violent. See what the fraud is? You see what the big lie is? When people hear this, they go, ICE is rounding up just poor farmers, poor hotel workers. but only 14% are violent criminals. Oh. What a lie. Okay, so the federal government, their stat is a little bit different. It says that 60% of all the undocumented people have been detained by Homeland Security, have committed some kind of criminal offense. That is probably true. Okay? Now, a criminal offense could be not showing up for a hearing, could be a lot of things. But if you are here illegally, you have snuck in or overstayed your visa, and you commit any crime, out of here. Right? Okay. So that's what we're dealing with here, a massive deception, and the press picks it up and runs. I don't know how many times I've heard the 14%. Why does CBS report that? I have no idea, but they're so lazy, these people. See, we researched all this. When we heard the 14, we went, no, that can't be possible. And then we come in, and it wasn't hard to find the classifications of different kinds of crimes. So this is a huge fraud. So summing up, Democratic Party doesn't want enforcement against undocumented migrants unless they're killers, rapists, or people like that. So if you're a fentanyl, heroin, cocaine dealer, come on. I'm not going to bother you. And that's the memo.